Hi, I'm Eve Menezes Cunningham, and welcome to the Feel Better Everyday podcast, helping you connect with and take better care of yourself and create a life you don't need to retreat from. Thank you for listening to the Feel Better Everyday podcast. Today's episode is with Colleen Neefsey, a delightful nurse and heart health, diabetes and weight loss specialist. So she helps people to manage weight, to reduce the need for medication and to support better heart health and overall health. I adored what she was saying and her delightful normalizing and making it all seem so easy and commonsensical and appealing to do all the things we know will benefit us. So I look forward to hearing from you which of her recommendations you will be adopting, and I hope you enjoy the episode. So welcome, Colleen Neefsey. Thank you so much for joining me for the Feel Better Everyday podcast.
I love it. Thanks for having me. It's so good to see your face.
I haven't seen you in so long, but you were one of the first people I met when I moved to Ireland because
Yes.
I taught yoga at where you were at the time. That was my
Yes.
first Irish yoga class.
I met you in Leafy Greens.
I do remember that, yes. And I think that, it was so exciting because it's like this move is happening. But you're known now, you've been doing a lot around heart health. You're a nurse by training, and you help people with weight loss for heart health. But do you want to say a little about what you're working on at the moment and how long you've been doing it?
Yeah. So you mentioned I'm a nurse. So I'm 22 years a nurse. And then I specialize in heart health and type 2 diabetes and weight loss. So obviously they all come part and part. And we know by having a healthy lifestyle, it aids our heart health and obviously can aid in either reversing type 2 diabetes or reducing the medication. So I'm all about what we can do with our health personally, as in from our lifestyle, via nutrition, exercise, reducing our stress, and that overall, like looking at our sleep, looking at our day-to-day life and how we can bring as much balance into that. And not like, looking for the next shiny object to help us. If we can just bring it back to ourselves and reconnect, then we're at a really good grounding there. And I wanted to bring, I hate the word holistic because I just think it's a buzzword, but I think it's going back to the good old days. I know we've loads of science and we've loads of, different shiny things, as I say, the shiny object syndrome out there. But if we go back just to the basics of what we need to do in order to be healthy around our heart health, but also our mental health and our physical, they're all one. They're all connected. Our food influences our mental health. What we eat comes through our body.
Of course.
It shows on the outside. What we put in obviously affects the inside. So it's looking at the whole lot together, and it's Rise Strong with Colleen, Mind and Body Transformation. So I'm looking at the whole lot along with exercise and nutrition. And obviously we all want to look well and feel well. And, and I work with both men and women.
Yeah, brilliant. And I'll have all the information in the show notes. So people can find you. But essentially you're talking about self-care, aren't you? Things people can do for themselves. Like, what would you say if you had all the time and energy in the world for an ideal self-care morning routine? And that's both basic self-care and any spiritual practices.
So I think, my normal routine, and I like to make a routine that if I'm busy and I've no time, or I have loads of time, that the one kind of stays the same. If I can be consistent. And I think doing anything at all is better than doing nothing, whether it's 5 minutes or whether it's a half an hour. And where I love having my own time, I love my own company. I do get sick of it after a while, but in the morning time, I like to just wake up straight away, just open up the blinds. These are simple things. Just let the daylight hit me. Then I like to just get out of the bed, and I do kind of a lymphatic drainage.
Okay.
So I just think like obviously, a lot of us aren't drinking enough water, and there's a lot of toxins in our body, and it's just something simple. It takes about 2 minutes. That's
What
it.
does it involve?
So you're looking at your body as a
Yeah.
big massive drainage system, right?
Mhm.
What we want to do is make sure that everything is draining where it should be. And our biggest draining system is up here.
Uh-huh.
So it's just above the collarbone, just below it, behind the ears,
Mhm.
just at the top of the tummy, so above the belly button.
Yeah.
The two lovely little lines there towards our groin, and
Mhm.
then behind the knees. And
Uh-huh.
all we do, and I seen this practice a while back, and I just thought, oh my God, this is fabulous. And it's first thing in the morning. So all you do is basically with your hands, the way some people are like, oh God, how hard
EFT.
do I rub, or how
Okay.
gentle, or whatever. So just above the collarbone, below
Uh-huh.
the collarbone, give it a nice little rub there,
Okay.
just for about 10 seconds. And
Uh-huh.
then do clockwise and then anti-clockwise.
Oh.
And then you go the other side. And you're doing this while standing up. And
Yeah.
then give it a little tap, right? So
Uh-huh.
you do the same on both sides. And then behind the ears, as we know, just there, do lovely little circles, clockwise, anti-clockwise. Give it a nice little rub. And people get worried about pressure. As long as it doesn't
Yeah.
hurt you, you don't want to go too hard, because we know
Okay.
drainage, fluid retention is just underneath the skin. So we just want
Okay.
hard enough that you feel it, but not hard enough that you're like pressing on it, because your emotion
Okay.
is there. So
Oops.
you're just rub, 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 clockwise, anti-clockwise.
Uh-huh.
And then obviously biggest is here. We're going up, and then we're going down.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's just above. You probably can't see me there, but just if you place your hand above your belly button, and then the
Okay.
other one on top of that, and you go rub, 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 rub. You can see me boobs moving there. And then you go clockwise and anti-clockwise. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you're going down towards your groin, and you're doing that as well. So you're down on
Okay.
the knee, nice and gently, and you're rubbing that up and down. Be
Yeah.
gentle, it's a sensitive area, and then clockwise and
Yeah.
anti-clockwise. And then let's say these are the backs of your knees.
Uh-huh.
But just on the back, again, you just rub on top of the calf, below the
Yeah.
hamstring, and just go up and down, and then circular and the other way.
Oh.
And then once you do that, just stand up and get on your toes and bounce like a child. You know the way with flexibility and
Yeah.
mobility, as adults, it's literally like the minute we hit late teens and 20s, we forget about all this stuff. Just bounce up and down on your toes, and feel the circulations for about 30 seconds. And then
Okay.
give your body a good old twist. Really
Yeah.
feel it while you're doing. Let your hands go loose, and
Uh-huh.
just feel that automatically can all be done in about the most 3 minutes. You can do it less,
Brilliant.
and then feel that energy go through your body. You'll feel it
Yeah.
from head to toe, and it's absolutely
Yeah.
terrific. So, as you know, time is an issue. So, while I'm doing that, the
Yeah.
eyes are closed, I'm giving gratitude.
Uh-huh.
And I know people are like, oh, gratitude, Colleen, for God's sake. But I'm like, it takes three. You can do all this in your
Yeah.
loving. You don't have to sit in a corner like a Buddha. You can just do all this, but still be connected. So
Yeah.
your energy is flowing and you feel amazing. And what best else to feed your mind and to feel the energy that's coming out of us and
Yeah.
inside, is to have gratitude. Whether it's for a good night's sleep, for the roof over the head, the
Yeah.
cozy blankets, grateful for your family, your work, your clients. I bring it all into me.
Yeah.
And then I picture, obviously, that's as much as I can within the 3 minutes. And then I sit with it and I feel the energy kind of from the tops to my toes to the top of my head, and then I'm just like, okay, what do I want to manifest? Where
Mhm.
do I see myself? And then I have a vision of what that looks like. And I think a lot of people get too much into, you can read and read and read and read and read, and there's so much stuff out there on social media.
Yeah.
But I think what we need to do, and what I try and do anyway, is visualize the end. I don't visualize how I'm getting there. I visualize myself in the end. The universe, God, whoever you believe in, will
Mhm.
bring that forth. But I always have that manifestation of what I want to do, where I want to be, and then I let it go.
Yeah.
And then in that, it is straight down the stairs. I have a pint of water, a bit of lemon, cup of coffee has to be had, and then out the door for fresh air. I'm very blessed
Yeah.
that I can walk and talk with my clients. Some people like it on Zoom, some people like just because I'm conscious of their time.
Yeah.
So everybody has no time. So I'm like, well, why can't you do it all together? So it works whether you're busy or whether you're not, whether
Yeah.
you're on holidays or whatever. You can take this practice absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
You feel amazing. That whole lymphatic drainage piece is
Yeah.
just gorgeous. And
It
then
is.
I wanted to bring this book on as well. It's called The Language of Letting Go. I don't know if you know Melody Beattie.
Okay.
And sorry, I've got loads of stuff in it. But it's an old book, right? You can see it's an old one. But
Yeah.
there's lovely little daily readings
Uh-huh.
every single day. Again, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It recenters and off you go with your day.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. And I'm aware I was doing the lymphatic drainage while sitting down and also trying to not dislodge anything and lose the connection.
Yeah.
But I will definitely try it standing up. But
Oh,
it just feels like an all body hug as well, doesn't it? It's a but what
yeah.
would you do for your, like, if you didn't have, like, if you weren't well or if you were really pushed for time, what would be your essential?
Sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think rest and sleep, and I think obviously if you're sick, depends on how sick you are, to be honest
Yeah.
with you, because like our body is screaming at us to recover.
Yeah.
And the old way of what we think of, like, oh, if I'm resting, if I'm sitting, then I'm resting the body. And it's like, yeah, you're resting, but are you recovering? And
Mhm.
I go, what is the best practice to recover? And it's sleep.
Mm.
And we find it really hard to sleep. And a lot of the times is we're either forced into a sickness because
Mhm.
our sickness is bringing us there, or our head is so active. It
Yeah.
is so bloody active. It's like there's a million and one things. And it's very hard to get to sleep. So I'll always put on the meditation if I have to. If I
Yeah.
have one of them days that I'm like, it's either sickness and I'm too sick and I need something to help me fall asleep, I'll put on a bit of meditation, whether it's Wayne
Yeah.
Dyer, whether it's Neville Goddard, um, nothing too stimulating.
Uh-huh.
Or it could be not even to have like them names thrown in. It could be just something relaxing,
Yeah.
just relaxing music. But I really believe that sleep is one thing and then disconnect.
Yeah.
Disconnect from environment of any shape, whether it's with people, family, friends, switch off from work. And if I do have the energy, it's whether it's disconnecting and separating in the house here or just getting into nature as much as possible.
Brilliant. Okay. And what about later in the day and before bed? What would be your ideal self-care and
Yeah.
your essential?
Essential is bed routine.
Uh-huh.
I swear I am awake, like I'm not always in the bedroom.
You've just skipped over the whole day.
Yeah, the whole day. I'm just in bed. Bedtime, I think a bedtime routine. So switch off from work, switch off. I think you have to bring some playtime into it.
Mhm.
You have to connect with people that aren't part of what you do. Something
Yeah.
that, like, let's say in the middle of kind of coming into the evening. So I love Pilates. I love that kind of thing. Again, getting out into fresh air. I had my own gym. So for me, it's like not getting into something like a late class for me would
Yeah.
just stimulate me. Or I start
Absolutely.
getting into work mode because I can't stop looking
Yeah.
at people going, oh, just do it this way. And I'd be like helping in a nice way. So something that's not going to stimulate my work side of life and
Yeah.
something that brings in laughter, laughter, connection, connecting with friends. And then bedtime, then it's all about the routine, Niamh.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest thing for me. 9:30, I'm heading up them stairs. And I know some people are like, are you asleep by 9:30 or 10 o'clock? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm heading up the stairs.
Yeah.
And it is a routine for me. And I feel in my body, I look at the clock, even though I don't like the clock telling me what to do. I like to connect in and see,
Yeah.
am I tired or not? And I'm not perfect at this, but I can honestly say around 4 to 5 nights out of the week, it's 9:30. And I head up the stairs and I feel my body is ready for that. And I built on a habit on that.
Yeah.
And it's purely just getting into the PJs, washing the face,
Yeah.
just me. It's about me. Because all day it's about giving, whether you're doing it verbally or physically or energetically, you're giving off all the time. I think it's really important to try and pull that back. And again, it's just about something as simple as like, I'm actually feeling my face, like I'm cleansing, I'm moisturizing,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
Into the PJs, getting into bed, listening, reading books. I have books all around me, but I'm not a massive book reader. And when I'm going to bed, like I have one here. It's funny. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a FUCK. And this is the one I'm reading at the
Yeah.
minute. It's very good. But again, I can't read for that long. I'm flat out, like.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes I'm like, I don't want to go to sleep yet. I really just want to do something nice for myself. Because the minute I
Yeah.
start reading, I'm just like, I'm gone. I'll never finish a book.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's a page. So it is something like a meditation or something like that. And then hit the bed and then pick up a book, read a couple of lines, and then I'm flat out then.
Ah.
Yes.
And is there anything from earlier in the day that you'd like to do on a regular basis or every day? And that's like kind of when things are really good for you.
Yeah. Um, I think for me, it's connecting. Like I have my dog Toby, and he just brings like joy into my life. And if I could just get more playtime, it's so
Yeah.
funny. I have a business mentor and absolutely amazing. His name is Rob, and his wife Louise, and she said, what happens sometimes when you have your own job is that your priority with your own time, and especially being self-employed,
Yeah.
you it is amazing, but then your hours are very long, and even though it's online, it's
Yeah.
very hard to disconnect and bring that personal piece back in.
Yeah.
So I want to bring more, even though my program is fun and it's crack, it's serious as well. I like to bring more of my personal time into my day, if you get
Yeah.
me, instead
Absolutely.
of having it around a purpose of the morning and a downtime at night.
Yeah.
It's bringing in that piece. So some of that is, yes, it's going for coffees. Yes, it's connecting
Yeah.
with October. Yes, it's getting out to nature, coming off the screen. If I could
Yes.
get more of that, I know my energy is even fulfilled.
Yeah.
My it's overflowing with goodness anyway. But I'm not perfect. But
Yeah.
if I could get more of that stuff in, yeah, absolutely. I know
Oh.
it'd benefit me more.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of
You're
that.
very welcome.
Where can people find you online?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. TikTok is what I'm trying to get used to in the minute. But on Facebook, I have Rise Strong Mind and Body Transformation. You can find me
Uh-huh.
there, or you can find me under Colleen Neepsey.
Mhm.
Um, Also the same on TikTok and on Instagram, it's Colleen Neepsey. I am running, and if anybody is interested, Eve, a 4-day free training
Mhm.
from September the 4th, starting at 7:30 in the evening. So we're going to be focusing on nutrition, exercise, but most importantly as well, like what we're talking
Yeah.
again, what our triggers are, what else can we do to improve our
Yeah.
lifestyle? Yes, to assist weight loss, but also to reduce stress and overall heart health. So if you're interested, the link there,
Yeah.
I think I sent
I'll
that on to
have
you.
it all in the show notes, but this won't be
Fabulous.
out by then. Will
Oh
you
yeah,
be
that's
running it
fine.
again in the future so people can
Absolutely.
yeah.
Or join my free group, because there'll be
Okay,
some of the
perfect.
recordings in there as well. So
Okay,
absolutely.
perfect. I don't want
Yeah.
people listening thinking, "No, but it's just
Yeah.
you." And I'm like, I'm
There'll
leaving
be
time
loads
for
of that coming.
post-production. Yeah.
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah,
thank you so, so much. Really appreciate your time and advice. That was gorgeous.
that's amazing. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Feel Better Everyday podcast. As you listened to this episode, I wonder what resonated most for you. I love Colleen's approach to going back to basics, the stuff we know, but with such grace. How might you indulge in more sleep, more laughter? How might you try, if you don't already, enjoy daily lymphatic drainage massage? How might you make your favourite elements of your own self care practices more portable? How might you bring more gratitude into your life? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And I'd love if you'd share it with someone who you might benefit from it, and also to rate, review, comment. Next week, I have another interview unexpectedly after attending the Neurodivergent Entrepreneur Summit. The delightful Athena Sayaka is talking to me about her self care. She did a presentation on the importance of discipline And she works with supportive systems for entrepreneurs, for neurodivergent entrepreneurs. But looking forward to sharing that with you very much. And this episode, like all the episodes, is produced by me, your host, Eve Menezes Cunningham.